The EFF is not apologising for storming H&M stores in Johannesburg, Pretoria and Cape Town. Party members trashed the stores in protest against an advert. A black boy was featured modelling a hoodie in which the slogan "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle" appeared. Well, we're joined now by analyst Ibrahim Fakir for a discussion about this. Ibrahim, good morning. And I suppose the EFF this morning, if you look at front pages, saying they vowed to close down buyer stores after H&M was vandalized, and there's been mixed reaction to the action that was actually taken by the EFF, not so much the cause, but the action.
Well, I mean, I think here's the problem. The problem is, you can only justify the EFF's action if you accept that this is fundamentally racist, that it was deliberate, it was conscious, not that it was a mistake, not that they've apologized. Now, why does that matter? Because I think we've got to contextualize this. If you accept that this is racism, you've got to ask the question, was this a customer, black customer, who was either denied service, given shoddy service, not allowed to purchase, not allowed into the show, treated badly, overcharged, etc.? But we can accept that I think what H&M did here was a massive mistake, massive miscalculation, because there's centuries of association of black people with monkeys, so that's quite clear. But the question is, now that they've apologized and you've extracted a concession from them, are there more progressive and productive ways of doing this? Of course there are. Not only are there consumer boycotts, which is one portion of an action, but there can be a sustained campaign to extract from H&M, now that you've got an apology from them and an admission, that you can extract greater commitments of them to invest in the society, to commit to creating X number of jobs in recompense for what they did. And so there are creative ways, progressive ways of extracting things and concessions from a company which has done something silly, frankly. Now, that's not the progressive way or path that was chosen by the EFF. In fact, what was chosen was a regressive path, and it comes on the back of a series of statements every 2 years in which they want to make everything ungovernable. So in 2014, it was making the mines ungovernable. In 2016, it was making Gauteng ungovernable. Of course, we've seen the trajectory and the path by which the EFF has functioned, and I think the timing matters, and it matters a great deal, because this was done as a matter and a continuation of the sustained campaign of spectacle, which is to draw attention away from what's happening in the ANC as it slowly and incrementally tries to claw back some of its credibility.
And of course, I mean, like you say, it does take away sort of what the actual issue was with this. And now the focus has become a debate on whether the EFF was right in doing this kind and right in reacting this way, and it's not going to help their reputation any at all.
Well, I don't think it does. They certainly think it does, and they're trying to posit the fact that this is about protecting black dignity. In fact, it does everything but that. It impedes black dignity. It does not advance society, because if you wanted to advance society, you might have done some of the more creative approaches, but which are much harder work, because they require sustained campaign, they require some creative thinking about how you go about doing this. And this will simply be dismissed and written off as part of the continuation of this politics of spectacle.
And I mean, let alone the fact that employees, majority of those employees in those stores are South Africans.
Well, it's,
you say you champion their cause. Is that a way of championing
that's one portion of it. And this is why I'm saying, if you extract concessions from H&M about what they can do to turn around things in society, it actually both advances society and advances citizens in society, and it attracts investment into the future. Because right now, there's a whole bunch of people who are thinking in terms of fixed investment in a society, not hot money which comes in, trades on exchange, or trades in currency, and then moves out. This is people who are thinking about sinking capital for long-term investment, to now thinking, if we potentially make a mistake, is it worth sustaining an investment in the society over the long term, because we're not quite sure what would happen. So actually it's been counterproductive from a branding perspective, but it's counterproductive for advancing the interest of society and the interest of citizens. It doesn't actually do any of those.
So in a nutshell, the EFF making a big mistake.
I thought it's an own goal. Of course, they're saying this is about protecting black dignity, but it doesn't do so in any way. I think it impedes it on multiple levels, not just one.
Well, is there any way then, I mean, because they say that they will continue to close down buyer stores after H&M vandalism, and I suppose many people are going to say, well, if this is how the EFF is going to deal with issues, then how do we trust that, that this is a party that we can actually vote for?
Well, I think that's the big tension here, and it's about literally saying, is there the rule of law or not? Now, clearly, H&M, and you've extracted this concession from them, they've made a huge mistake, and this mistake can be capitalized on. But the mistake is not being capitalized on. In fact, what is happening is that there is engagement in counterproductive measures. And these counterproductive measures are going to hurt society in the long term and hurt the EFF, I think. They think that, you know, this champions them in the minds of the public in protecting black dignity. But as I'm arguing, I think it does everything but, because it's counterproductive, not just in terms of the signals it sends, but in terms of what concessions you can now extract from H&M. In fact, H&M are now on a slightly stronger footing, morally and ethically, to start saying, but look, a week ago, we've admitted to this mistake. A week ago, we were prepared to say we were prepared to do certain things in recompense.
And you could have got a lot more out of them.
You could have got a lot more out of them, like both to advance yourself and the society as a whole.
And help the people that you say you want to help as black South Africans, I suppose. Thank you very much for that insight, political analyst Ibrahim Fakir, just reflecting on the EFF's action against H&M after that very controversial advert. Well, that is it from Morning News today on this Monday morning. Back bright and early at 6 o'clock. Up next is the